Hello, hello, Pisces. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your February 2020, giving you a Celtic Cross reading for the month of February to see what insight, advice, and other information we can perhaps gain about this month. So I do apologize that it's a little bit late. I was feeling not so well recently, and so I had to take a break from my readings. And so these last couple of readings, Aquarius and Pisces, ended up being much later than I intended. But I am here now, and it is time to do this reading. So we would like a Celtic Cross reading for all Pisces people, Sun, Rising, and Moon, for the month of February 2020. Let us see what we get. What will be the energy for Pisces in February 2020? I am live streaming this at a rather unusual time. It's now 8:33 a.m. and I went live at 8:32 a.m. Eastern Time. So you can see the morning light sort of coloring or affecting the lighting in the room already, and here we are. So it is an early morning. It is a strange time, but these are strange times that we are living in. All right, so let us begin. For your current outside influences, the Six of Swords, the Challenge card, the Five of Swords. Oh boy. The underlying energy, the Queen of Pentacles reversed. For the past and issues you've had to deal with, the Four of Cups reversed. For what you hope to achieve, the King of Cups. For the near future, the Nine of Cups reversed. For your attitude or position in the situation, the Star reversed. For the outside force coming in, the Queen of Swords. For your hopes or fears, the Nine of Swords. And a final outcome card of the Page of Swords reversed. All right, interesting stuff. So let's dive in and see just how all this manifests. So for your current outside influences, you have the Six of Swords. This is how you're beginning the month of February 2020. So this is a card all about moving on, the need to move on and leave things behind in the past, whether it's a relationship or whatever it is. Moving on, moving forward. Maybe it isn't easy, but it needs to be done. And either you are already doing this, or this is a sign that you need to do this. You need to try to move on from something, let go of something. Now, on a completely different note, the Six of Swords can also be this energy of what I am increasingly calling a sort of scientific optimism, proceeding with an attitude of positive thinking into new territory. This idea that whatever the problems are, whatever the challenges are, we can use our logic and our rational thinking to solve them. That sort of optimism I'm going to say, especially with the surrounding cards and the current astrological configurations, that that may not be the best methodology this month, particularly with um, Mercury currently in Pisces, which, well, maybe that will help you think a bit more logically, it being in your sign, but we're all sort of in this state right now, and Mercury is also going to go retrograde in your sign of Pisces this month of not having that mental clarity, not having that logical reasoning and things of that nature. And so I think it's much better. It's much better if we try to feel our way through things this month and throughout the time that Mercury spends in Pisces, which it's a little bit complicated because once it goes retrograde, then it dips back into Aquarius a bit, then back into Pisces, and it's just all this stuff, and then it's in its shadow, it's out of its shadow. We don't need to get into all that, but just know that this is likely a card of needing to move on or move forward with your life or in some area of your life in some way, whether that is something that you feel like you have a positive attitude about, or whether it's something that is maybe a bit difficult, or maybe a bit of both. Who knows? Now, for your challenge card this month, you got the Five of Swords. Ouch, it's a bit rough. So, Five of Swords is indeed a card of chaos and conflict, of forces sort of being opposed at one another, especially in the realm of, again, thought. It's another swords card, air card. That's the intellect, the mental realm, which involves things like communication. And so the idea of arguments and conflict between different perspectives is a likely challenge this month, and something that you must find a way to overcome to the best of your ability. And it's interesting that this is crossing over the Six of Swords, because it's almost like saying that it's almost like the cards are saying that you will need to leave behind conflict in some way, or maybe whatever conflict you experience this month with whoever you experience it with is something that you're going to have to find it within yourself to move on from, or maybe integrate and then take a more positive attitude on it, considering the positive attitude connotations of the Six of Swords that we just looked at. But yes, challenge card this month, Five of Swords, can be a bit rough, but a lot of signs are having it a bit rough this month. For the underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for your current situation this month, you have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And so this is essentially a card of sort of insecurity surrounding money, financial matters, or other similar earthy matters, with this being the Queen of Pentacles, Earth. So stuff that you need to support you, that you are used to being able to rely on to support you, or at least would like to be able to rely on to support you, whether that's literally money or something else, is not as strong this month. There is some insecurity in this area. However, I want to say that, and I've pointed this out to a couple other signs this month as well from sort of similar situations, is that we're not seeing any heavy hitters here. We're not seeing like the Devil, the Tower, the Moon, these sorts of difficult cards. And so I tend to err on the side of that, meaning that it's not ultimately going to be a hugely difficult thing. It's not going to be like some great life upheaval that shatters everything. It's just going to be an additional challenge this month. It's going to be a little more challenging than usual, or maybe like moderately more challenging than usual in that area. That's my interpretation, at least. So for the past and issues you've had to deal with that then lead into the present, you have the Four of Cups reversed. So in the recent past, have you been open to what the universe is trying to give to you, trying to provide to you, trying to show you? Or have you been closed off to it? And have you been sort of struggling with that dynamic in the recent past? Because the cards are saying that that kind of energy indeed has been there for you and then is affecting your current situation of like having to move on or move forward from something difficult. Maybe and maybe this is the case even now, that there's something that the universe is trying to offer you that will make it much easier to move on from whatever you would rather leave in the past, to sort of let that go. So I would say consider that. What can you sort of be more open to right now? All right, for what you hope to achieve, you got the King of Cups. This is like your highest hope, your highest goal this month, what you're reaching for, what you're focused upon. Well, the King of Cups is the airy aspect of water. It is the mental aspect of emotion. And so we have this idea of being able to have a logical, rational, sort of left-brained understanding of the emotions, of the emotional realms. And it's like the cards are saying, this is what you desire this month, is a deeper understanding either of your own emotions and or someone else's. However, to get a bit more specific here, King of Cups energy, this can be like someone who is of great help to another person, providing great counsel. It may be your desire to help someone in need this month. And I would also say, especially with this being the King of Cups, representing typically an adult male water sign, you may be looking at yourself, Pisces, as a water sign. Or there may even be another water sign in your life, Cancer, Scorpio, or another Pisces, who is of particular significance to you this month. A couple different possibilities there with a court card. But yes, indeed, generally speaking, you hope to achieve a mental understanding of the emotional realms in whatever way that manifests for you. Interestingly enough, considering the Mercury retrograde, it looks like that's definitely going to be affecting you this month, as I see with these upcoming cards here. Mercury, as I mentioned earlier, is in Pisces now, and it's going to go retrograde in your sign of Pisces. And Mercury doesn't do well in Pisces, even if you're a Pisces. Mercury likes to think logically, whereas Pisces energy, your sign, is all about thinking much more intuitively and emotionally and imaginatively. So Mercury is just all kinds of confused in Pisces. But this could be saying with Mercury there in your sign, though, this month, this King of Cups is like a desire, with this being air, the airy aspect of water, a desire to sort of reestablish or regain that intellectual, mental understanding of water, or in the midst of that sort of watery Pisces realm. Does that make sense? A desire to maintain a sort of mental, emotional clarity when it otherwise might not be so easy. All right, so that is what we have there. For the near future, representing about the first week or two of the month, we have the Nine of Cups reversed. And so there is often an element of dissatisfaction in this card, where you're not quite able to reach the happiness and satisfaction and enjoyment of life that you normally would be able to, or that you feel that you should be able to. There may even be a hint of some of that there. Maybe there's still some pleasure and satisfaction there, but it's not what it could be, or you feel like it could be. And there's this sense of dissatisfaction and perhaps even disappointment. And so do be aware of that in the first week or two this month. Let's see. And then, of course, The Mercury retrograde does officially begin halfway through the month. And so, with this being a 9 and with it being reversed, I would say if any of you are thinking of any kind of long distance travel this month, you might want to reconsider if possible. The reversal of this, with it being a 9, would be a sort of discouragement of such long distance travel, especially when we also have the Mercury retrograde. All right, so for your attitude or position on the situation about halfway through the month, you got the star reversed. So, more indication of that potential lack of mental clarity, whether it's having to do with Mercury and Pisces, as we have just been going over quite a bit, or not, or something else, something other than that. There can be that lack of mental clarity. There can also be a feeling of a lack of freedom. Like you're not as free to do what you want to do as you could be. And also this sense of, I hate to sort of be the bearer of bad news here, but like fading hope, the sense of like hope fading, the light of hope growing dim as you make your way throughout the month this month. And so, yes, that can be very challenging, but again, we aren't seeing any like heavy hitters here that would indicate any kind of real disaster. And so, also with this being specifically how you are feeling, not necessarily reflecting anything that is literally happening, even though it may feel like hope is fading, there really is no indicator or indication of disaster. So do remember that. Not that it's all on your head, but the freedom that you desire should return soon enough. For the outside force coming in, you got the Queen of Swords. So first of all, court card, this could be an adult female air sign that is Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, someone who is, as the outside force coming in, presents themselves to you, probably to assist you this month in some way. However, I can't help but notice and think that with that Five of Swords as your challenge card, and this is the Queen of Swords, some of you may be experiencing a bit of conflict with this adult female air sign this month, and so do be aware of that. But usually when the card's upright like this, a court card is upright, usually that's indicating a more helpful energy, not conflict. And so I don't know. I feel like I could go either way there. Other than that, the Queen of Swords is about great perception. And so this could be someone or something coming towards you this month who sees things clearly, even while you may feel like you don't see things entirely clearly. This person may help you to sort of find your way in the dark, so to speak. Or maybe it's a situation that helps to clarify things, Sometimes when this card shows up, it seems to indicate, in my experience, the idea of good friends and allies. So again, we have that. All right, so for your hopes or fears, you got the Nine of Swords. Yet again, this is a card about how you are feeling, not necessarily what is literally manifesting. Let us remember here, it is a 9. We got another 9 earlier, so your 9th house is activated powerfully this month. That is education and higher learning, spirituality, your belief systems, your ideals, long distance travel, foreigners, foreign things, government and legal proceedings. All of these things, these 9th house matters, any or all of those may be significantly activated for you this month. The 9th house is the house of God, if you want to put it that way, or spirituality, religion, and all that kind of stuff goes in the 9th house. Astrology and tarot itself would go in the 9th house, does go in the 9th house. So consider that for this month. Now, as to the specific meanings of this Nine of Swords card and your hopes or fears, you're worried about being worried, basically. You're afraid of things troubling you, worrying you, shocking you, keeping you perhaps quite literally up at night, as the imagery of this card suggests. Again, I have to reiterate here, I can only really emphasize that we're not getting strong indicators of big problems like that this month. Other than maybe that Five of Swords, a potential conflict between yourself and one or more other people, could be a bit disconcerting, but we're not getting really huge indicators of great upheaval. And so I would say, especially with that just falling in your hopes or fears, don't worry about it too much. So for the final outcome card, how you are concluding the month of February, well, you got the Page of Swords reversed. And so again, with this idea of the lack of clarity, the delays, all of this stuff, I think this is indicating the Mercury retrograde for a lot of you. If things are feeling rather delayed by the end of the month, I would say try to be a bit patient, because with that retrograde energy, you're not really likely to see movement, especially in those Mercury realms, until like late March, early April. And so, give it another month, month and a half, 2 months, maybe even at the most, to see some movement in those areas. Other than that, Page of Swords reversed can be a sort of mental stagnation. It can be, rather than like the Page of Swords upright, which is all about, curiosity and all these ideas and maybe being rather opinionated and maybe a little too forceful with one's opinions sometimes, some will say about the Page of Swords. It's like you don't really have much going on that is getting your mental juices flowing when the Page of Swords is reversed. So that can be a bit boring, perhaps, as far as intellectual life is concerned. But it's nothing catastrophic. And again, it could also be indicating delays. Also, I'm going to draw an 11th card for you guys real quick, just to get a further indicator of how things are manifesting for you, especially that outcome card, to make it more clear. And it is the Magician reverse. So indeed, this card is literally Mercury. This is literally Mercury. So it is about the Mercury retrograde. Mercury reversed, as if to say retrograde. So yeah, just try to be patient this month. Things are slowing down, especially with that Mercury stuff, the mental realm and all that, but they're gonna pick back up again as we get into March and April. And so if you're feeling like impatience, especially around the end of the month, know that like this is just the cycle we're going through right now. It's not like you're doing anything wrong necessarily. In fact, you probably aren't doing anything wrong. It's just the sort of sucky like delay that we're all sort of wading through right now. So all right. That's about it, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed. Also, happy birthday if it's your birthday this month. I just thought of that. If you did enjoy this, feel free to like and subscribe. And thank you to the 2 people who did like this while I was live. I see those likes there. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. I am always live streaming more astrology and tarot related content to my channel. So you can subscribe to see that if you would like, and just like spirituality related stuff in general. Other than that, I hope you have a great month. And I'm getting an influx of viewers right here at the end of the stream. That's funny. Well, this will be up on my channel after. Obviously, you can go back and watch the whole thing. So thank you so much, Pisces. Have a great month, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.